Wait, don't turn the channel. You've tuned into High Gravity.
The show where we talk about beer, brewing, and bullshit.
Where the only thing we take seriously is the next round.
So grab a glass.
Fill it with something cold.
And enjoy the show.
I suppose we'll start this one out with a shout out here. So Mr. John Barron shared the recording session a couple weeks ago and got a comment from somebody who said they're going to follow and listen, Heidi Aversole.
Wait, wasn't that his cousin that makes the hot sauce?
Ah, yeah, that's what I said. I couldn't remember
And
the
hot
business
mustard.
because he goes, Heidi's Hellfire gets a shout out. So
Yeah.
shout out to Heidi and Heidi's Hellfire. Apparently you make some good sauce.
Yeah, no, he was saying she makes a really good, like spicy mustard, and that sounded really good.
Yes. And I had another one that we'll get to because I forgot to pull it up. But anyways, so this is...
There's a dog outside. Sorry,
That actually
distracted.
wasn't why I was distracted by something else.
You saw the dog?
Yes.
I saw the walker.
Yeah.
You got to have an in if you're going to talk to a walker, though. I mean, you're like, hey, that's a cute dog.
That's
And
a
then
cute
go
dog.
from there.
How's it worked for you so far?
Not. So,
All right, let's get some beers poured.
real quick.
I'm ready to start drinking today.
This episode is 4 times
Oh.
as good as other ones.
I'm in. That's a friend of mine. The hell are you doing?
Hola.
You want to be on the show? Oh, come on.
I only got 2 minutes.
Oh, well, hello. Have a seat.
So is this
my
a cut or
buddy
is
Ed.
this on?
Oh, that's all leave in now. Some random guy walking in.
God, they'll just let anyone in here, won't they?
So there it is. Get close. You know the drill. You've been on the other one.
I've been on a few.
So this is Ed.
Hello, Ed.
He's been here a couple times.
How you guys all doing?
Good.
Oh, we just about to open a beer. You came in the perfect time.
Yeah.
He needs a glass, though.
You drink beer, right?
Yeah, well, depends on the kind of beer. But, I did hear things about this
Real American.
Hogan beer or whatever.
Yeah, we had one as a to wet the whistle, if you will. Actually, it wasn't that bad. I
No, they're
honestly,
pretty good, yeah.
not going to complain. I said very much lawnmower beer. You know?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So, honestly, the first time I even heard about it was because of Mr. Holland here.
Orange. Stage name. Come on.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, who's Holland? What the hell?
Nobody knows.
So, in the theme of this episode being
they're all
4 times as good, now there are 4 of us. So we're drinking quads today. We've got a couple of interesting quads, Belgian quadruples. This first one is from Goose Island, and I don't know that it has a particular name. Just says number 8 on the front. This is a Belgian-style quad ale aged in American rum barrels.
Ooh.
Did it have a year on it?
92.
What?
15 or 13 point something percent alcohol. August 24. So August 4th, 2024. So this is a fresh quad. We'll see if I can open it with the Bic here because I left my bottle opener. I can. I did.
Nice.
Came, I saw, I conquered. Smells like a quad.
Well, it didn't, shoot the cap into the ceiling, so that's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll happen from time to time.
Oh, yeah. I'll pass this that way if you don't mind.
It's got a nice amount of carbonation to it.
Looks good.
Could be
Got a
because
good
I'm
color.
hard pouring it too, but
Yeah. That's all good.
I'll try yours. I'll pour yours properly. We'll give it a little hard pour. There we go. Just need a little head.
Thank you.
Daryl disappeared.
He's coming back. He's going to grab our random guest. And this is a complete random walk by. I don't know if they actually just came to say hi. Hi, by the way, Sarah.
Actually, I was out eating breakfast with a couple of our friends that we all know. And
Fun.
we're over there getting food, and I happened to see the...
Man, you remember how to do this?
The what?
The microphone. Get it
Oh,
up.
yes.
Yeah, there you go.
Sorry. I'm,
You've done this before. Come on.
new technology here.
Now you've got a Hulkster beer.
This is the one I've actually wanted to try because I heard it was a light beer. People were telling me that it was kind of like cross between like a Bud Light and maybe a Labatt Blue Light or
That's
something.
better
Yeah.
than Bud Light.
I'd agree with that.
Do we want to have him try it before we review ours?
Yeah, sure. We already had some. Yeah, to give
It's
it
a
a
whole
try.
new dynamic to the show, but
Didn't we have it last week?
We've had it a couple of
oh
times.
yeah.
I've only heard about it, and then I was like, I really want to try it because I've heard about it, and I was like, dude, it's like
Give it a go.
So here we go.
Oh. Yeah. It's a Yep.
Never been on the show. Never listened.
He
to
knows the
show,
vernacular.
Already knows the lingo.
I don't
Don't hate it,
hate it,
Sarah. No.
but it's definitely different than
Yeah.
a Bud Light. I mean,
It tastes less like tin.
Yeah. It's like it's a little bit more than light, but it's still light and refreshing.
it's not bad though.
No.
I don't hate it.
Nope.
It's something that I could sit down and grab
Kill
a
a
12
case.
pack
Yeah.
and
Polish
sit
it
there
off.
and polish it
Yeah,
off and put it on
exactly.
a bonfire, whatever.
Yep.
I mean,
He
it's
says,
not.
how can you talk bad about real American beer?
Yeah, exactly.
America.
Yeah.
No, what's the alcohol percentage on this?
4.2.
Now, is that higher than like a Labatt's or a PBR or anything like
PBR's 5. I think Bud Light is 4.1, if
Something
I'm not
like
mistaken. 4.1 or 4.2. So lighter than like a PBR or a Coors Banquet, but alcohol-wise anyway.
Still good and flavorful. Anyways, let's.
Speaking of flavorful,
Yeah, speaking of sidetrack, let's back to the.
I like
Quad
this
here.
one a lot.
yeah, it's not bad. The rum actually comes through quite nicely.
It balances, actually, I think, the quad.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a hard time describing the quad flavors of it. It's kind of caramely, but
Be very out of his wheelhouse. It's gonna be interesting to watch him do this.
that? I mean, that one. I mean, this actually has a smell to it.
Yeah. It's a very currenty note.
This is a little dark for my level of Bud Light and Labatt Blue Light.
Well, Belgian quads have a very specific flavor, too.
they do.
Yeah.
It's got
So
that
if
really
you've never had it, it's
caramely and
This will be a new experience for you here.
And that is definitely an unsure look.
Oh yeah, yeah.
A confused and unsure look, actually.
So you know how you guys, as I try this, there's a certain expectation of a beer taste to it, and I got kind of like a whiskey taste out of this for me.
yeah, you get
And
that. I get the rum for sure.
Yeah, it's a liquor taste to it.
Yeah, it's a liquor taste.
Yep.
For me, it's obviously it's not a. Now, is this considered a beer or is this like a rum?
It's a
That's
beer.
beer.
It's a beer.
Aged in rum barrels, though.
Yep.
So
So it's the liquor you're getting, the barrel taste. That's a characteristic of the rum barrel it was aged in.
it's not bad. I don't mind it. I would drink this again.
I like throwing new guys right to the wolves with this. This is fun.
So, like I said, I definitely can taste the. It obviously was aged in a barrel.
Yeah.
But it feels like it has that liquor taste. I mean, I like it. It's not that bad. I'm actually pretty impressed with it.
Well, I'm trying to think if I have a Belgian quad here without being barrel aged, but I think everything we have is barrel aged back there.
Yeah, I think these were the only. Well,
Because the Wizards is
we have Wizard's Burial Ground. Yep, that
That's
one's also a
barrel-aged.
quad.
No.
I think that's our favorite quad.
I'm just realizing I've never actually seen the cooler where any of this stuff is stored.
There is no cooler.
I've seen a back room, and I thought it was.
There's a
actually
back.
cooler.
That's why these are covered in dust.
That would make sense.
The
That
drywall
would
dust
make sense. Yeah.
from mudding and
Construction.
sanding and
Oh, I thought it was the copious amounts of cocaine that happened back there.
oh, that's well.
no, we don't lose any.
We
of that.
don't waste the cocaine like.
I just thought it was nicely aged in the back in a vault or something.
Yeah, there might
Underground.
be little dust on the bottle.
That's where I keep my Batman costume.
And I assumed what he meant by a fridge was a snowbank out back. And
I don't want to know about
Yeah,
your bedroom
stick
toys,
'em in there.
Daryl. Oh, is that a new? Is that
That's
a
actually a
feature
good
available
idea.
on
I think about it.
Coming
Batman
soon.
costume? Oh, nice.
Have you ever hid beers in the snow the night before a snowstorm? So when you're shoveling, you can find
That's brilliant.
Man,
beer. Oh yeah.
And you do that. Like
I want to start shoveling snow now.
yeah, like hiding Easter eggs for the kids. You know.
I used to take beers and set them out there, like right here, like, oh, we're gonna get a big snow. The only problem is the one time I did it, it got so cold it froze them.
No.
And
Dude, I just put out Imperial Stouts.
I didn't, because I've done it 5 or 6 times. I was like, as a joke. And all of a sudden, the one time I go out there to start shoveling, and then they're all exploded, and I was so mad.
I'll believe it.
Sad.
Just
I've had
Twist them in half and eat the beer snow.
It's a blushy.
Yeah, right?
I've had a
probably
work
something
outside.
different, though. A blushy.
Probably,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
For that term,
Urban
go
Dictionary.
to. I was gonna say go to the glossary section of Daryl'sDildos.com. Oh, you should have a glossary section for all those terms.
We'll add that to the list too. Coming
Or
soon.
it's just a hot link to Urban Dictionary.
This show is proudly sponsored by Daryl'sDildos.com for all of your dildo needs.
So I got
Actual sizes may vary.
a question about this other drink here. Do we know what barrels these were aged in?
I didn't see. It just said rum barrel when I looked.
Rum.
Brewed and bottled Chicago. No, they are surprisingly light with the details here. They have no description of the beer other than that it is a quad aged in rum barrels, and it is what they call a small batch number 8 from Goose Island,
I wonder where that's at. See if it's close to
In Chicago.
Chicago.
Chicago. Okay.
Yeah, they're actually owned by InBev, so they're owned by Anheuser-Busch.
I forgot they bought them.
Yeah,
What?
a handful of years ago. They still
Cancel the show. This is shit.
they make great beer.
We got other stuff.
Goose Island's integrity was not impacted by being bought by a large brewery, which is good.
Yeah.
Because we've had a lot of Goose Island, and it's never
yeah.
disappointing. Their BCBS, the Bourbon County Barrel Stout, is always
my God.
consistently good.
Yeah, now it's terrible.
No. We had a couple of them last Sunday, and they were good.
That was several Sundays ago. Remember?
No,
That was last year, man. Come on.
contextually, I suppose. Yes,
Yeah,
you're right. It was
those
last
were
year.
Fantastic. Oh my God. The 18 was so much better than the 17, though.
It's weird. Yeah, I've never had a
Yep.
bad Bourbon County Stout.
No, that was fantastic.
You know, it's weird now that I taste it again. I have a back end like sour to it.
Yep.
Yeah, I get that. It was kind of a little bit of like the
But I didn't
current
notice it
note
when I was
actually
drinking
of it.
until like I'm done with it now. Just sits in the back of my throat.
That's phrasing.
Did you swallow? I mean,
It's about time you caught up.
I've been letting them go, man. Come on, the last one we recorded, I had a whole bunch of those.
Just tastes like quad to me. Like, I have such a hard time describing quads because quads just taste like quads, and if you don't know what that tastes like, I'm not good enough at.
I wonder what
Having a
AI says
palate.
it tastes like. AI would know better than
it's a
us.
lot of like heavy fruity characteristics.
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe raisins. I feel like I
Yep.
taste raisins in a lot of
Heavy,
things,
dark
though.
fruits.
That's how this was made by AI.
Yeah, AI made the all-American beer. I mean, the label does kind of look a little bit like, hey, if you could just make us a label that's violently American, could you do that?
There's no eagles though. Is there an eagle in there?
There should. Well, the Hulk takes the place of the eagle. Like the Hulk can't share the
that's
same
true.
stage
That's
with an
true.
eagle. I mean,
There's just that much American.
yeah, he is not to be grandstanded by a simple bird. No.
I mean, come on, man. The American bald eagle's not just a simple bird, though.
Ask people in Alaska that. They'll tell you they're rats out there now because there's so many of them.
Yeah. I've seen the videos of those. They're big fucking
Beautiful
birds,
birds.
too. Oh my God. Yeah.
Technically, the eagle's not the American.
Is it the turkey?
No, I don't think we have one.
Damn it. I was hoping it was the turkey.
But soon, there's a petition. Some guys trying to actually
To make it the national bird.
make it the
Yeah.
national bird, but it is not the eagle. I don't think we have one.
Everyone assumes that it is, so yeah.
Yeah, there's a whole guy who's donated the last 70 years of his life to do that.
Damn,
For a bird.
Hey.
Shit.
I'm into it. Anyone who is that passionate about something, I'm here for it. It's like that one guy who's into trains, really into trains.
Dude, I know one.
Well, that's called autism, and sometimes it
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah. Yeah, what does that mean I am to Jeeps?
Listen, man, I'm not going to diagnose you, but
I know I have a problem.
turns out we're
Okay.
all on the spectrum in some way.
Oh, yeah.
Some more than others.
I'm not on. I'm way off the charts.
That is something funny. Say it.
Your Jeeps are a little rusty and crusty. That's why you like them.
I know.
He said it.
I know it's a Jeep thing. You wouldn't understand.
I've heard that before. Or that when I asked about the ducks, I'm like, what's up with the ducks? They're like, it's a Jeep
that's
thing. You
dumb.
wouldn't understand. I'm like, I drive a Jeep, and no one gives me ducks because my Jeep is
It's not a
dumb.
real Jeep.
No, it's not. But guess what? It's paid off.
You know, I
And,
got that Jeep thing. Now it burns when I pee. I don't know what to do next.
Consult a duck. I don't know. Doctor probably can't help you with that.
No, doctors can't help me. I'm beyond that.
I know, people listen, they know. Anyone who's heard more than one episode understands that.
I'm sorry. Not really, but I mean, you choose to keep listening. So.
See, this is why I'm here, though. Drink beer and listen to the banter.
Oh yeah, it's the third element. I mean,
Well, I happened to be driving by, and Sarah was like, "Is that John's Jeep?" And I'm like, "Yep, that's definitely John." And I was like, "Well, if he's still after breakfast after there," and I'm like, "I'll swing in there and say hi."
You came at the right time.
oh yeah,
I
perfect
really
timing.
didn't expect you guys to even be in here still. I figured you guys would have been wrapping up or something. I was like,
Oh no, we do a few episodes at a time,
We drink for a few hours,
Yeah. Yep.
allegedly.
Then we have lunch.
Yes.
and then we drink.
There's usually beer at lunch.
And then Johnny gets driven home.
Yep.
One time that happens.
that was a real debate this morning. I looked at her and said, well, his vehicle could be there for two different reasons. I was going to say, I don't know how his night ended up
time.
last night because I didn't call him on the way home. But I was like, well, he either had a really rough night or a really good night, or he's podcasting.
That was a couple weeks ago that happened.
There's only three options.
I was going to say the third option being both of those
I
things
was going to say,
happened.
could have been, yeah.
He stayed here.
I've gotten a
And he's
ride home.
podcasting.
I have had to call for a ride home exactly 2 times in my life. And the first time was when I blew an oil cooler in the parking lot across the street.
Now we feel special. See what we did to him?
Yeah, right?
Yeah, my first legitimate call home. Dad, I need a ride home. Yeah, it was fun.
See,
I
I
mean,
don't have
not
to call
really.
my dad anymore. I just call my daughter. Come get me.
Yeah, I got a few years before that would even be a plausible solution, though. I mean, at least
17?
Well, I was going to say, because they could drive at 15, you know, plus 9 months. So
Yeah, but
call
they
it
can't
15,
pick you up
16.
till they're 18.
Drive even younger than that if you put some farm plates on the truck.
Oh, yeah,
Yep.
you're right. You're right.
Because if they have their permit and you're drunk,
So it's going to
you
be at
still
least
get in trouble.
ballpark about 19 years until I could have a
That's why I said
offspring bring me
17.
home. Yeah. Oh, 17. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Maths.
Yeah. Yeah.
Quick
We
maths.
know I'm not good at math. That has been established many times over.
Do you know the Europeans, they say maths.
Mm-hmm.
I hate it.
I mean, when you break down to the technicalities of it, it is math.
Can't believe they invented the language.
How much beer do you have over there?
I have none.
Same. I got drips.
Sounds like a problem.
Yes.
Can we fix that?
Well, he's still got American lager. I'm jealous.
I mean,
I
I've
don't have
seen
any
him
Hulk
drink.
beer.
He can catch up.
I'll tell you what, this is actually not. I would definitely.
So first he was unsure, and then he had the quad. And he went back to that like, this is amazing.
Wait till we get him on some of the real strong stuff.
I am not a very exploratory person. I'm very simple. I like Labatt Blue Light, Bud Light.
Well, you shouldn't have jumped in with us doing quads.
That's why I'm enjoying this so much. I love just the random.
Go
Hey,
big
get in here,
or
sit down and
go
talk.
home.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I wasn't even expecting.
Oh,
like I
this will be
said,
fun. I feel I should record this or something.
It's the surprise beer is the best beer.
This is
Oh,
going to
yeah.
pop
Why
all over.
would- Woo!
That was very fun and very satisfying for me.
That was very exciting.
Felt like I was in Black Ops 6 diving off the floor.
Surprisingly, this beer smells exactly like the last one.
Oh, really? Imagine that.
why is it smoky?
Well, I can explain that. So when it is under pressure, like it is,
Under pressure.
coming down on me. When you open it, the pressure differential between the pressure outside of the bottle and inside of the bottle rapidly changes, and it causes that vapor to form. You can actually, well, I won't give you instructions on that. We talked about that before, but when you can change the pressure rapidly enough, the liquids in the bottle can actually separate too. The alcohol being lighter and less viscous than the water in there, you can vaporize the alcohol in a bottle by changing the pressure differential very rapidly. I think
Damn,
that
you're
was
smart. So what are we drinking?
Yep. So
He was about to tell us all how to get drunk by breathing. Come on.
not advice I would give to anyone. Do not bypass the liver. I think this bottle's very confusing. It's got a lot of things on it that I can't follow. I think this is called Three Philosophers, which is 98% quadruple ale, 2% ale with cherries added.
Ooh, I'm excited.
Yeah. But I think this is from Brewery Omegang, O-M-M-E Gang, established Coopertown, New York. And it has a description here in very difficult to read cursive. Part of the something family, Duvel family of fine ales. Serve at 50 degrees. It's actually probably 50 degrees. Pour slowly as to not disturb the yeast sediment,
I am now scared to try this.
but with enough vigor to create luxurious head and release the rich bouquet. 9.7%
I might
ABV.
skip this one. I watched Johnny take a sip and kind of like regurgitate, shaking his head like, what the hell is this?
Regurgitate? No, I don't spit beer up.
Where heaven met earth and stayed a
The face
while.
expression, not that you were.
Oh, no.
To ponder your thoughts. Once this beer was a dream, not quite finished, like a symphony missing a line, a quadruple for nights of deep thinking, and we thought it was perfectly fine.
Don't try it.
But we wanted much more, so we pondered a while. We brewed on, but our minds would not cease. Then one fellow appeared with, by chance, a cherry beer, and Eureka, a dark masterpiece. With three philosophers, we unite the caramel and chocolate notes of our multi-quadruple ale with a serendipitous cherry creek for complexities and that invite your deepest considerations.
What's
That
the
sounded
year on
amazing.
that?
Just try it.
Yeah. What's the year on that? Was that
1942.
Was 2016 or 2006?
1985. I don't know.
I was like, you two and Blondie were big back then, weren't they?
With you two and Blondie and music still on MTV. Our two kids in high school, they tell her that she's uncool. There's no year on this.
Yeah, there is. I'm looking.
Oh, go ahead. I don't know how to read.
That's why I didn't try.
2016.
Sip,
it's
small
right
sip.
there, right there by my pinky.
2016.
Yeah.
So
So he gave me shit for not reading, and then he read the wrong year.
if you want to try, go ahead. But
I said, is it 2016 or 2000?
it's not good.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
No? What?
It tastes like a quad.
No.
Back end?
It's terrible.
Am I dumb?
It finishes just completely flat.
I don't like the back end.
I get no chocolate notes.
Tastes like a quad. I see nothing wrong
Would
here.
you like mine?
How is yours different? I poured it from the same bottle. It tastes like the last one without any rum in it.
So compare this to the last one. I like just this Birth by Fire with the new guy.
Yeah, we should.
But it's got like
Man off the street interview.
it's really weird. It tastes like there was like a piece of wood, like old
I get that too.
dock wood shoved in a
Yeah.
plastic barrel
Yeah.
or something. And it
Like
was just-
like an uncharred piece of just oak.
yeah, just like
Wood chips were floated in it.
I think it tastes like the last one without rum.
maybe like a hint of like a chocolate or something. I don't know. It was
I don't get that at all.
You drink it all.
I think it tastes like a quad.
no. I'm gonna stick with the wood.
I don't
yeah.
think so.
I think
I
the
wish
wood.
it did.
I get just a tinny bland. It falls so flat of what it could have been.
This is very weird for me because this tastes exactly like the last one with no rum in it.
It's very
Let's
similar.
go get
I
a
agree with
burial
you.
ground, see if it tastes the same too.
Oh, Wizard's Burial Ground. That's
'Cause then
not
we'll
fair.
know.
It's not a fair comparison.
And how is there supposed to be cherries in this?
Tastes nothing like cherries. There is no cherries in this.
It's
But to be
right
fair, it's only
there.
2% cherries.
To be fair, yeah. 2% ale with cherries added.
Oh, wait, no. I got a little bit of cherry on that last drink. A very little bit. More like kind of like cherry cordial. Like, you know, that kind of like sweet
Yeah.
cherry and in nasty ass sugar. I do not like cherry cordial anything ever.
So I know this is a beer podcast, but my question is for you guys. Have you guys ever done anything with like Frank Sinatra, like Jack Daniels, done any tasting like that? Or
Matter
like
of fact,
Liquor.
I have.
We
like
haven't
a
though.
little bit of liquor.
Not on the show. But
What's-
we've talked about it.
Yeah, because we are about high gravity, so it would make sense, but not yet. You'd think after a year we would have started drinking.
Which means
some
we have to
booze.
change our intro, though. From beers and bullshit to...
Booze and bullshit.
We'll just call it under the brewing part. It's a different type of brewing.
It's true.
I mean, technically,
distilling. But, it's close.
technically,
You have to make the
Well,
beer
no,
for
no.
the still.
Exactly. Technically, it was a beer before it was distilled.
Oh.
It might have been a really shitty beer.
Exactly. So they distilled it. They filtered it.
So the reason I asked you guys, because I happen to have a couple bottles of liquor if you guys wanted to try it sometime. If you guys ever do an episode or a show of...
Oh, I thought he had him here. I was getting excited. I was like, yes!
Not today. I was going to go do breakfast. Yes, I take my 75th anniversary Jack Daniels with me to breakfast.
With his wife and
I
daughter,
mean-
no
I
less.
carry mine all around.
I would say, yeah, body as a container, maybe. But yeah, you never know. You never know. Sometimes you just got to cruise around with a 75-year-old whiskey in your.
I mean, I used to have an old, this old mason jar with this really funny tasting clear liquid that would make you feel real funny if you drank it in the car.
But the answer is yes.
Yes, absolutely.
I told you not to drink that Mexican water, Johnny.
But it makes me feel all tingly and good.
But what's her name bathed in it?
Oh yeah.
Whoa,
Do you have
what?
your what is it? Your Belle Delphine gamer girl water.
That's why it burns when I pee now. Got
Yeah.
it.
We did try the Amaranth beer. We did try that beer. That was another e-girl beer, except that was made with her version of yeast.
We tried that?
Yeah. Except for what pissed me off about it is
I
that
don't remember that.
all
either.
they did was
I block
take
that
the
out?
yeast and they extracted lactobacillus out of it, which you can just buy at the brew store.
And if you guys are hearing the keywords, he's talking about exactly what you think he's talking about.
Yeah. That beer was dumb and stupid, and I don't know how we got it or why
I don't
we had
remember
access
this.
to it. Yeah, you don't remember that?
No.
Maybe we talked about doing it, and I'm just
We've
misremembering.
talked about it a few times, I know. I didn't know that. I don't think we
I don't
actually
think I talked
tried
about
it.
doing it.
I'm pretty sure
We talked about it.
And we
have
talked
talked
about
about
it.
it. Yeah, I don't.
Oh, sorry.
recall
I
doing
guess
it.
that must be part of my private collection. Really a simp for e-girl products, I guess.
I mean, whatever floats your boat, man. I ain't gonna judge you.
You're not getting my bathwater, Johnny.
No, I'm good, thanks. I ain't into that shit.
You can't have it.
Excuse me.
Nice.
What was that? Or is that a reaction? To
I
me?
would actually drink more of that. I don't know why
There's
you guys
plenty
are
more.
Trick
wrong.
it. I don't
So
like
you
it.
can have this, and we'll split the other one.
I don't really like
Oh
quads.
my God, he's pulling a Johnny.
He is.
Well, maybe I'm drunk. I don't know.
So I'm not gonna lie. The more of this I have, the less bad it gets.
You're welcome.
But it's still not what I was expecting.
It's okay to say that I was right.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not going that far.
How long have you been married? Come on, you know.
8
Oh,
months.
the problem is that I am right, but like,
But you never are right.
yeah,
Okay.
she just doesn't want to admit it.
I was gonna say you guys are coming up on a year in like 4 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be
You're
8
married.
months.
Yeah,
8 months.
Yeah. Okay.
Again, quick maths.
I'm not good at math. This has been established multiple times.
It's pronounced maths.
Well, gentlemen, I hate to say this, but I got to get going here. So
Smart man.
This
you
was
guys for the beer.
this was a pleasant surprise, actually.
Thank you for joining
But
us. Much
when it does
appreciated.
come to doing some liquors and everything else,
Fuck yes.
Oh yeah, we'll get you on.
just let me know.
Well, thank you for joining us, and I'm gonna hit mute, and I will give you a shout when I get out of here.
Sounds good.
We'll see you. Thank you for joining us.
Yes. Thank you for the surprise. This was nice, actually.
yeah.
This was
Like I
fun.
said, she happened to see it before I did. And I was like, are you guys muted for a second?
No, he's never muted. He says it. He's not.
If they're on, we're recording. Say it though.
I love you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for stopping. This was fun.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, we'll see you guys.
Funny enough, that's the second time we've had someone come off the street. When Becky was walking by, it's like, "Oh, why don't you come on in
about that, yeah.
and join us?" Yeah.
So it's fun
Small
'cause
town life.
He is not at all like a craft beer guy or into any of this kind of stuff.
Yeah. No, it's good. I
But-
I like
yeah.
exposing people to new beers. I
Oh yeah, for sure.
think
If we knew he was coming in, we should have done like actual bourbon stouts,
well now we have an opportunity.
something more
yeah.
along the lines that he might like.
It's a surprise though.
Yeah, it's.
I have found more often than not that when I encounter someone, they're like, "Oh, I'm not a craft beer drinker. I don't like all those dark beers or all those flavors." And it's like, then you give them something that, like, you say, "Okay, what do you like?" And you give them something, they're like, "Oh, this isn't bad."
Yeah.
Like my father-in-law does not. He said, "Oh, I don't like dark beers." And so
It's like you haven't had the right one.
we went to Warwater for lunch one day, and he loved their Chug Light. I figured he would.
I don't know that one.
It's just a light beer, but it's nice and flavorful. It's got just a little bit of hop to it, enough for like the average Coors Light palate to really enjoy. And
Actually, I think their logo looks like Coors, doesn't it?
yeah, it's very it's I think maybe more like Miller Lite to me.
Okay, maybe it
Like
was
kind of
Miller,
that like white and
I can't
gold
even
and
picture it right now.
you can buy it
the
at stores.
cross thing.
Yeah.
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 And so I had him try their black lager. I don't like those light or those dark beers. I said, well, it's kind of a misnomer because dark beer doesn't always taste like quote unquote dark beer. Everyone thinks every dark beer is a stout.
Yeah.
And then you introduce him like, no, this is a lager. This
Dark
is a
lager or something, yeah.
And he's like, oh, this actually isn't that bad. And I'm like, yeah, you can't judge a beer by its color. It's one of my favorite things about dark lagers and dark IPAs is like people assume it's one thing and then you give it to them and they're like, this is not what I expected.
But that's something about just beer and wine. If you start thinking about it, someone that says they don't like wine, don't like beer, there's so many variations.
Exactly.
Oh my God,
So
yeah.
many flavors.
Exactly.
You can't, it's not saying like, I don't like Patron. Doesn't matter what Patron I get, it still has that same
Yeah, it's
Patron
tequila.
taste to it, yes.
But you're not saying you don't like tequila. You just don't like a specific tequila. I used to feel that way about bourbon. I didn't really like bourbon, but the only one I had was like Jack Daniels or some shit. And I was like,
Daniels, that's a whiskey. Come on.
is it not bourbon?
It's whiskey.
Doesn't it say bourbon on the bottle? Either way, I don't like Jack Daniels. And I never liked it. And in my head at that time, this was a long time ago, I thought it was bourbon.
Yeah.
Like, so obviously I didn't know what it was in the first place. So then when I started drinking other bourbons, I'm like, oh, I actually do like bourbon.
That's
I
fair.
just didn't like that one. And now it's whiskey. So
When I started into bourbons, I tried probably 12 different kinds, and like Basil Hayden's, not a fan.
I
The
like their
Four Roses,
double rye.
not a fan. But
I had some Four Roses
Rose-
yesterday, and I agree, not
I
a big
take that
fan.
back. No, Four Roses I liked. I liked Four
It's
Roses.
fine. I
Yeah.
just it wasn't. I wouldn't buy it at the store if I was like, oh, I'm on a bourbon.
So Four
No.
Roses is been rated really high for a long time. I bought it one time. I've never got it
Their
again.
single barrel's amazing.
not
I
that
had
great.
a
Just because what's out there in comparison.
Yep.
I had a friend of our family's I helped out, and everything else aside from it, he's like, hey, so go in this closet, grab like 2 or 3 or 4 bottles of bourbon.
It's probably the first time you've been in the closet since you came out.
Nope, no, never been in there.
He came out. I didn't know people knew.
Yeah, now they do.
No, homie does not roll that way, for the record. My dating attempts are bad enough.
We heard about the girls. That's why we know.
Listen, double your dating pool by getting out of the closet.
Better
Just saying.
chances.
No, I don't. No. Fuck.
It's 2024, Johnny. We accept you for who you are.
That's not me.
Well, no, we don't accept you for who you are, but your sexual preferences are not the reason we're judging you.
Anyways, I went in the closet.
Welcome to Roast Johnny.
Fuck, man. I went,
Stop making it so easy.
shit. I can't really get out.
So you were in the closet.
And did or did not come out.
Well, he's going to
getting
tell us
there,
about
okay.
that.
I
Yeah.
reached
At this
in-
point, he's
No,
still in
that
the
doesn't help
closet.
either.
Okay.
I got a bottle of Four Roses single barrel, and it was fantastic.
Good job.
And I'm gonna stop there because fuck you guys.
Yeah, my nephew last night when we were at my family kind of like hangout Christmas party type thing, and there's a bunch of like whiskey and bourbon and things at my dad's house. He doesn't drink a lot of it, and my nephew brings out this bottle of Four Roses. He's like, "Oh, have you had this?" I was like, "Yeah, I've had it before." I was like, "It's okay," and I tried it again, and he's like looking for a glass, and I just opened the bottle and just took a drink out of the bottle. I'm like, I didn't know we were being that formal.
Yeah,
And
it's liquor. It's
not for me.
sanitizing. Fuck it.
But he had was an old granddad, and
I don't think I've ever actually had that.
he really likes it. It's a cheaper whiskey, but like it was one of those ones that's like kind of more highly rated. Like they could sell it for more, but they don't type of thing. It was fine. The smell on it to me was a little too much. As soon as I smelled it, I'm like, this does not smell like a bourbon that I would enjoy.
Yeah.
Bourbon isn't really my go-to too much, but I do love a good old-fashioned. So Buffalo Trace Single Barrel was actually a really good, really inexpensive, too, for a old-fashioned. I actually liked the Basil Hayden Dark Rye.
I've not had that one.
That one was nice. That was actually
I'd love to try it.
Your brother, Daryl, recommended that
Brother
to me.
Phil?
Yes, we'll say that.
Brother from another mother.
And he recommended it for old fashions because it's a little bit sweeter bourbon, and actually it was really, really good. Straight up, it's a little sweet. Kind of makes me think of like for me, Angel's Envy. A lot of people really, really love it, but for me, it's too sweet and too spiced. It tastes like it's artificially sweetened and artificially spiced.
So my biggest problem with it is, and it's not that it's bad. It is very smooth, but I like that tannin harshness.
Yeah,
to bourbon that you get.
That to me tastes like bourbon.
It doesn't.
Angel's
have
Envy
that,
did not taste like bourbon to me. It tasted like a fucking like spiced sweet liqueur almost.
Oh my gosh! Don't go that far.
I haven't had that
I
one.
did not like it. I did not like it.
I traded some homebrew equipment for a bottle of Bullet Single Barrel that was pretty good. That was.
I haven't had their single barrel.
It was good. There's no more. I'd offer to share it. And so coming back to this one again, I'm kind of in between. I don't hate it. I'm definitely seeing what you're saying. The going right from that to that. There's definitely the rum.
It's the hair. That's what it is.
It must be. Yeah.
What?
My hair's getting in the way.
Changes his mind like that.
It's
I like it. Don't like it.
to me. This just tastes like a quad.
No,
I don't taste any offness to it.
It's
but
too light. It falls flat.
It's only 9.7%, which is actually kind of a low ABV quad, to be fair.
It's 2016, though, to be fair. Daryl?
To be fair,
There we go, yeah.
you're welcome.
You missed the one earlier.
I did.
I think that...
It's fallen flat. It's absolutely fallen flat. I've had a lot of quads.
And I haven't.
They're very
I don't
robust.
really
They're
like quads.
very in your face with the kind of the dark fruity characteristics. This does not have any of that. I can't tell
I didn't
though
feel
if
like
it's
the
just
first
'cause
one
it's
did either.
aged out. It didn't have as many.
Well, quad
but it was
should
more there.
stand up to the test of time. They're supposed to be really big.
They should, and this doesn't. And that's just my disappointment because that's
Daryl has
I mean,
opinions.
what, 8 years.
I always have opinions. I just learned to shut the fuck up.
Smart man. Smart
like
man.
the clam.
No, the Goose Island one though.
That one's fantastic. Yeah, I like.
But
that
it does
one.
have that sweeter taste and the
Yes.
liquor taste.
Yeah.
But I still don't have that same after effect taste as that one.
Yeah. This,
I'm just not getting aftertaste.
like Ed said, it's like unaged oak. There's just a woody kind of taste characteristic to it on the finish that I don't hate it.
Maybe it's because I had
I wouldn't want to get another
this
one.
sweet drink earlier. Maybe that's why. I don't know.
Nah, I'd have a orange energy drink. No, that was lemon flavor.
Yeah, same. Citrus.
Anyways, yeah.
I do like my orange monster. It's my little treat.
Oh, it's one of my favorites. Absolutely.
I'm just kind of a black coffee kind of guy, but if I stop at the gas station for any reason, I will usually pick up an orange sugar-free monster as a little treat. And sometime during the week, I'm like, I'm not making coffee today. I'm gonna have a treat.
I forgot.
Gamer fuel.
I can't remember the last time I had a Monster.
I don't like
been a
regular
few
monster.
days.
I can't fucking stand it. I can't drink just regular
I
monster.
love it.
No,
Can't stand
mine's been like
fuck that.
20 years. 18, whatever, long time last time I had a Monster.
Same.
What?
The regular monster, because I remember the last time I had it,
Within the month.
I had bought a 4-pack of like the XXX cans, like the big cans, and a fifth of 5 o'clock vodka.
I
And
use that in my airlock.
I drank 3 of those monsters with that fifth of vodka.
But see, I mixed it with Red Bull. I've had Red Bull,
But see, I would do
but I don't ever just drink it.
I would do Red Bull
a
and Grey
mix.
Goose, but I can't do that anymore either because of the same reason. Because I drank so much of it, and the stupid thing was, I was old enough to afford better vodka than 5 o'clock, and yet still, I was drinking it because I was cheap and dumb, and absolutely one of the worst hangovers I've ever had in my life. Probably because drinking 3 of those big ass cans of
So
Monsters.
you're not cheap and you're not dumb now.
Ooh,
Say-
you're right. I guess when it comes to my alcohol, I'm not cheap anymore. But then again, I don't. I think I drink. Well, I know that we all drink for different reasons now than we did when we were 21 years old.
Sadness and depression and loneliness.
No, those are still consistent.
Oh, okay.
It's just that when I was young, your mission was different. Your mission was
Yes.
like, let's drink as much as we fucking can and like see how wasted we can get.
How
Now
much
it's
partying and fun we can have.
yeah, and then you end up forgetting 90% of it because you partied so hard.
I never
you know?
had that.
No, I had a buddy of mine I've known since high school, at junior high even actually. He's a painter, and he came to paint my house, and so we don't get to hang out a lot. You know, he's busy, I'm busy, kids, whatever. And but for those like nearly 2 weeks that he was there painting my house, like we spent half the time just like reminiscing and talking about old stories, and it was so much fun to see like the things that he remembered about events. And like I remember that event, but I remember
How that
different things.
viewpoint was looked at.
Yeah, and so we start to piece together events because he remembers different parts of it that I don't, and now all of a sudden we're getting a more complete story, and it was a lot of fun.
Not always a better story though.
No, not always. No, because sometimes you always kind of remember things like from your version of your lens where you're the hero. Fortunately, we didn't come across any scenarios where like we was like, oh, you remember that time that I saved the princess from the castle? And he's like, no, you didn't, man. Like you fucking crashed into the castle and like died. Like it was never a situation where he's like, no, you were definitely a fucking idiot. Like we were both fucking idiots. But I'll tell a story about him that was very fun. There's actually pictures of it on Facebook. And this was from.
So pictures when I party didn't happen.
This was like 1.3 megapixel pictures. So like we're talking like just before the Razr came out, the Moto Razr, if you can date that.
2007 and 2008-ish.
Yeah, so this was probably about 2006.
Okay.
Because it was my friend had just gotten him and some friends we had from high school they were renting this house on the beach in Lakeport. And they were paying like $700 a month for this like 3-bedroom house with a walkout basement onto the beach, like literally on the beach. And it's cheap for anything, let alone being on the goddamn beach.
Yeah.
And I love the dudes to death. They're all great. They were, they're just nerds. They're playing World of Warcraft all day, and like I get that because I'm a gamer. That's all I do now.
Games are stupid.
But at the time, we're all young and we want to party, and so we'd party at their house all the time. And there's a picture of this individual that I also went to school with. We're playing beer pong in the basement, and for some reason he is wearing nothing but his underwear. Like he is, no shirt, no pants, just underwear, playing beer pong. And
was he losing?
No, we'll get to that.
I'm concerned where this is going.
I go to bounce the ball, and the beer pong rules. If you bounce, the other team can slap it away. Well,
that one too.
Simultaneously at that moment, I go to bounce the ball, and the other dude, like the dude on my team, pantses him, and he's only wearing underwear. So dude pulls his underwear down, and before pulling his underwear back up, dude's naked, dick to the wind, he slapped the ball away. Because ball is life.
That's dedication.
And then pulls his pants back or his underwear back up. And he's like, I ain't about to let you get 2 points just because my dick's hanging out.
Like, I got one of those kind of beer pong.
That's pretty good focus too, though.
Yeah. And I just remember the picture because he's standing there by the beer pong table with his, his hands on his hips and just his underwear, just like, fucking gaming.
We were playing beer pong up in a barn one night, and I'm gonna withhold names, but you know who you are.
Yeah, I'm not gonna mess in Chris by
show.
name. Chris wouldn't listen to this.
Yeah, so we were playing, and the one guy who was winning was there with his girlfriend, and they were enjoying each other's company while we're playing beer pong.
Sluts.
And the other guy was getting annoyed with it, so he takes a long, they had to where you whip a nut out to attempt to distract the other team.
Just one?
Yeah.
I have a difficult time pulling out just one. That seems difficult.
So the guy.
What if it's all you have?
So the guy with his girl.
Lance Armstrong.
The guy who's there with his girl does this, and my buddy's getting pissed because he throws and it's taking forever to go to the next round. So he takes a long drag on his cigarette. The guy starts kissing his girl, so he reaches across and just touched it.
No, that is not. Nope. That is how you get your ass beat. Do not do that. That is. I'm upset hearing that.
So I'm gonna slightly change topic. Not
Please.
topic, but subject.
I'm just still thinking about new ways to get beat.
So you mentioned Princess and Castles. I'm going to give a shout out to a friend of mine, Matt Busch. He's a gentleman we're going to have on the show here probably in the next few weeks. So he worked on a project called Aladdin 3477. I'm actually in a small scene of this movie. It's a whole series. It's 3 complete movies. And the first one released January 3rd. So it's on Amazon Prime, Apple TV, and I don't remember any of the other services it's on, but it's on a few. And it is a full feature-length movie. It's the story of Aladdin. It takes place in 3477. Very cool project. A lot of cool behind-the-scenes stuff. So I'll just give a shout-out to him. It's awesome, sir. Can't wait to get you on here and talk to you about that and some cool beers and whatever we have to drink for that.
Very cool. So those are out now?
Yeah, so it will air. So it was released January 3rd, so it's out now.
Okay. So I can't watch it today, but I can watch it
Wait a fuck.
today.
You can watch it. You can't watch it today, but you can watch it now.
Today.
Yeah.
Or now.
So as of this airing, you should have already viewed
watched
it.
it.
Yeah,
So I've got
and
an
it was
opinion
great. It was
already.
fantastic. It was awesome. I don't remember where my position in the storyline is. Either the first movie or the second movie that I'll be in. It's a very short scene. I walked behind a stack, and then it's implied I'm either knocked out or killed, and that's the end of me. But it was very cool. It was a lot of fun. It's the
Well, you're
only,
still here, so knocked
yeah,
out apparently.
and it's the only time I've ever worn a turban in my life, but it was great. It was a hell of a lot of fun. And I'm very much looking forward to getting him on here and talking to him and getting into some cool drinks.
Yeah, I like some nerd shit. That sounds
yeah.
like some nerd shit.
So,
I'm into
so
it.
Matt is a
Sounds like some
Star
good
Wars
times.
artist. He's one of my instructors when I was at Macomb. I believe it was. I think I only had him for one class. It was storyboarding class, but he's one of the instructors there in the Media and Communications Arts program. And I learned so much from him. It's not even funny. And there's actually actually no one knows this. There was a project we had to write a few pages of a script for one of our projects there. And it only had to be a few pages. I wrote like twice the amount I needed to for that. I've actually since expanded on that, and it's probably like half a movie length of a script now. And one day I'd love to finish it. That'd be cool. Maybe see what something happens with it.
So you're
but-
used to only having half the length and not finishing?
yeah.
I thought he was slow and finished early.
Listen,
You know what?
I'm going to make jokes out of whatever he says. There's no continuity or consistency to it, but like you give me a slow pitch, I'm going to knock it out of the park, you know?
Well, anyways, we'll have him on in the future.
That's gonna be
And,
fun.
Yeah, that will be a good time.
I like the three of us here. We do like some nerd shit, so it'll be actually as cool to talk to
Danny,
somebody
do you
else who
guys
likes some
have
nerd
actual
shit.
Star Wars memorabilia hanging in your basement?
I am not a collector
I do.
nerd. I am
I'm
not.
not that
I
way
am.
either.
I am a nerd who enjoys the nerd culture, but I'm not a collector.
What is like the pinnacle of your nerd collection?
I don't have a collection of anything. I don't collect things.
Nothing.
I'm not a collector. I don't have the room for it. Well,
I
I
understand.
guess you could say maybe I should draw that back. I do still have my year one release, like the actual Gen 1 NES.
Nice.
That was bought like the year I was born. But I do have my actual game cartridge collection for my NES. I used to collect them as a kid. I guess a little bit of context, like when I was a kid, like Funkoland was like the game store, before GameStop and everything. And they had like their little newspaper they would keep on the counter that had
Nice.
like the prices for games and the prices they would pay. And I would take that and I would go to flea markets and yard sales and things, and I would buy games.
Nice.
And I would try to get a copy for me. And then if I could find another copy, I would sell them
Nice.
to the game store. And that's how I paid for like my Nintendo 64 and everything. So
Smart motherfucker here.
dude, I've been a hustler since I was very young. That transitioned into Pokemon, and I used to come off the bus every day with wads of cash because the kids
Jesus.
with fat allowances, I would sell and trade Pokemon cards, and I would hustle
Nice.
and yeah. So I do have my original NES cartridge collection, which
That's
is several
badass.
boxes of old NES games that some of them are worth a lot, but like they're to me, they're the memory and the nostalgia.
That's awesome.
I have a RetroPie though, so I play all of my games on emulation. I never use my cartridges
Nice.
because to plug in and hook up my original Nintendo, I would be so sad if it did not turn on. So I'm just going to live in this perpetual bliss that the 38-year-old NES still works just fine.
It works just fine.
How
I
about
do
you,
have
Mr.
I have
Darrell?
a top load
Shake
NES.
a little bit and pop it. And
Well, you got to blow it,
Mm-hmm.
But I have a
Wiggle it just right.
Before you
the
turn
remake,
it on?
the top load NES that they released like years later. I have one of those, so I am able to still play my cartridges. But
How about you, Mr. Darrell? What's your greatest nerd nerddom collective piece?
yeah,
Maybe for another time.
Oh,
Nah.
But mine isn't so much collections. Mine's more skills. So
No, this is not skills. This is collection.
Oh, well, I've never been a collector. I guess my
skills.
NES
I got the
collection's kind of
Millennium
accidental.
Falcon hanging in my basement, and this was many years ago. I don't exactly remember. It was somewhere up in Mackinac Island or something.
Oops.
I was in a bookstore and I found a bunch of original scripts from the original Star Trek series that have all kinds of notes and stuff in them.
I do love
They
the
were script
original
copies.
Star Trek,
Yeah.
like Trouble
And
with Tribbles and
Yep.
like the William Shatner shit. Like
Did you ever
that
see
was.
the crossover with Deep Space Nine in it?
I've
We'll talk about that off
never
air.
watched Deep Space Nine.
There was a crossover. I've seen a lot of crossover and a lot of TV shows over the years. Nothing beats the Deep Space Nine crossover to the Trouble with Tribbles episode from the original Star Trek.
I just like how
Unreal.
I love the cheesiness of the original Star Trek, and then like because
so
when I was a
bad.
kid, I liked Power Rangers,
Yeah.
and Power Rangers very much had that 1960s 70s Star Trek cheesy feel, where like cardboard suits shooting sparks out of them. Fire hazards everywhere. But
yeah.
William Shatner's acting is just impeccable. If you could call it that.
I still love watching it, and you see the whole rock wall move when they run into something.
Oh yeah,
and-
that thing's made out of foam, and I think like Futurama, their Star Trek episode is just—it's such a fantastic, like accurate representation of their characters.
yeah.
Like where Shatner like rips his shirt on purpose before the fight scene, and like he ends up making love with like every combatant, and yeah, it's great.
That's who we all aspired to be.
Shatner? Oh, Shatner's the fucking man. Yeah, funny story. A little segue about Shatner. When he was the voice of Priceline,
Yeah.
So he, believing in himself, he did not take a traditional salary. He took his pay, the money they offered him, in Priceline shares. And the cost of Priceline shares went up by like quadruple after he became the spokesperson. So he's only supposed to get paid like a couple $1 million, but he ended up making like $23 million or some
There's all
crazy
kinds of
number.
stories like that. I love it when that
and
happens.
so he's like, I am just such a great voice that I think I would make your company a lot of money. And like he did. Like,
I mean, if he wants to be the official spokesperson of High Gravity, we'd love to have you. We can't pay you.
no, but I'm willing to bet we could get AI to do a spoken word version of our intro. And
I wonder who could do that.
yeah, I bet I bet Darrow could figure it out.
I don't know. We've lost our AI connections. That's why we have no more Here's to You ads.
That's what happens when I start getting a list that's longer than I can accomplish in a year.
I understand.
That damn ADD.
Keeps the list growing.
Anyway, since Daryl doesn't want to share his pinnacle of nerd collection, we should probably bring this episode to a close.
His nerd collection is at darylstildos.com.
It's a jar of
Although,
that
I will
Daphne
say-
water, isn't it?
I will say the next thing I'm going to buy to add to my collection, which we can talk about maybe one day, is the Spider-Man 9/11 edition. Because I like history with comic books.
No, the
Spider-Man.
Yeah, the Spider-Man comic.
Comic book.
Yeah, they
about
did.
9/11, where
Yep.
Spider-Man tried to save the Twin Towers.
Okay, yeah, I knew there was
It's-
there
Yeah, because
was a
Spider-Man
scene they cut
Amazing
from
lives in New
it.
Spider-Man.
York, you know.
I
It's
didn't know
Amazing
there was a
Spider-Man
comic
number
book about it.
36, I think it is. That's going to be the next one I add to my collection.
So I think it was Spider-Man 2. There was a whole scene of that was cut.
Yes,
Because
of
of
the
what
building.
happened. Yeah.
There's a comic
Holy
book that came out. It's got a black cover on it.
shit. I didn't know
And so if
that.
That makes sense.
You can find some collections of it that have
Wow.
like Stan Lee and some of the artists that actually drew a cover on top of
wow.
it and signed it. But those are about $1,200+ for
I'm
that.
good. I'm good.
But that is on my list to have one
It's
of those.
also a bottle of Pappy Van Winkle, just saying.
Yeah, I'll pass on Pappy Van Winkle.
Yeah. Anyways, it was fun. Happy New Year to everybody. And I've apparently been abandoned, so Happy New Year, and we'll see y'all next week.
Happy New Year. If you didn't learn anything today, at least remember this. Beer is the answer that makes everything better.
Can't remember the question, but who cares when you have a cold one in your hand?
Remember, everybody, drink responsibly, drink High Gravity.
Most importantly, drink well.
Okay, not the well. Life's too short for bad beer.
Stay frosty, my friends.